We're gonna go from this to this. Here we go. All right, so we have full face of favorites and then a couple of first impressions. This say, I have finished. She's a favorite. How's it going? How are you? You have to take the pump off. There's always more, and I have those little spatula thingies to grab more if I need. Good to the last drop, my friends. We've got to use it all. So I've been putting this on my face a lot lately because it's been cloudy and I need a little bit of a glow and a little bit of a tint. It just helps, you know, it helps make you look alive. Good primer. I usually have moisturizer on top in the morning. I don't wash my face in the morning. I've had people on my podcast that are like religious about washing their face first thing in the morning. I just leave the moisturizer on from the other night, so it's just what works for my skin. Everybody's different. This is the first impression part. This is the Ogee Complexion stick. Lou is currently burrowing under the blanket. It's not cold. She's fine, but she wants to burrow. Usually I use some sort of very lightweight face oil. I have used jojoba oil. You could use sweet almond oil. I have the vitamin C illuminating glow drops from Typology. We're just gonna try that. It's gonna give it a little bit of a glow. Oftentimes when I am using complexion sticks, this happened with the Westman Atelier, this happened with the Well People, this happened with Merit, this happened with a lot of complexion sticks. I don't know why, but adding a drop of oil to a cream foundation, not just complexion sticks, same with Mob Beauty, that's where I learned it. So I'm just gonna do that here. Put a little droppy. And then I am taking a kabuki brush and just blending it on top. But I'm getting a nice amount and I'm really pressing it into the brush. I find the more I'm able to do this, the less kind of shows up on my face. I like a lighter weight, so sometimes I'll even prime it on the palm, which can piss some people off. I know, some people are very anti doing that. I don't go with what works for you. And then a lot of people do this thing. I've done it too over here, but I'm just gonna press it in. Why does my brush smell like patchouli? Oh my God, that's a scent. That is a strong scent. Just kind of buffing out the bottom a little bit. My hair out of the way. Look at this. Air fryer mishap. Devastation. Tough stuff over here, you guys. I use any residuals on the forehead because I do not like to have heavy complexion coverage on the forehead. I'll even just take it off the back of the hand and just sort of glide it on. Let's take a look at this. Nice evening out. A little bit diffused. It's kind of interesting. I have to mess with these things for a while before I actually get the hang of them. Let's just try and build a little bit together. We're gonna build, we're gonna build, we're gonna build. I'm not going to press this on the top of the hand. I'm going to just apply directly right here. I have some redness that I'm gonna see if that creates any texture. It's grabbing on to dry skin a little bit and I exfoliated. So that's kind of interesting. Very slightly. It's really not showing a ton of texture. It looks like coverage. Do you know what I mean? It's not meant to be super light and natural. I guess it can. A lot of the people on the socials just apply directly to the face. That'll give you a sense of swatch. This is in shade Linden 1.75. The brand did gift this to me. I'm under no obligation to review it. So that's pressing. Literally, there's so many different elements here. This is swirling and buffing. It all makes a difference. That created more texture. I knew it. I knew it would. Also, there were no drops or kind of, what do you call it? No like oil priming. Something that I'm seeing with the finish is this kind of blurring and diffusion that's really beautiful. Very, very, very nice. I can't even feel it. I mean, I shouldn't be able to. And then you should be able to see the evening out. I also did a gua sha this morning and man, it felt so good. It felt so good. But yeah, you can't feel this. This was a little bit of an easier application. You know what? You can see more of a glow with the swirling. Pressing it in is going to get a little bit more opacity no matter what you put on it. Oilier skin types may really love it. I think I actually like this side better. I don't know. What do you think? This is a bit more fuller coverage for me. I always lean towards the lighter coverage option, but I'm seeing a little bit of patchiness. This is one I'm gonna need to fuss with. They always are. The sticks are always like this for me. I just don't. It's the drier skin. If you have drier skin, then this might be something you deal with too. That's why adding that oil or some type of emollient into the situation, just a drop, really helps for some reason. I don't know why. It just kind of does. It helps. So this actually wasn't a favorite, but so I'm going to do concealers, right? I have the Tower 28 and I have the Air Perez Cream Corrector. So I did a little bit of the Peach Corrector from Fit Glow beforehand, but I want to show you something that I learned from Jane Hughes. Shout out to her, giving her full credit here. She's a gift to humanity in a lot of ways, but she also has really great tips on social media. I've learned quite a bit from her. And she just kind of applies makeup flawlessly and effortlessly. And she's one of those that's just like, and it looks good. It's because she's an artist. So she was talking about concealers and priming the brush. And the reason that I'm using the Tower 28 is because this is a very lightweight, glide, silky kind of all over the place concealer multitasker, right? So she was talking about taking a brush. This is just a light, fluffy, I think this is actually an eyeshadow brush, but it was a similar shape. And then you're really pressing and working the product into the brush. You do this for a little bit. It picks up off of the back of the hand. And then you're left with a little amount. Now, the Tower 28, because it's so silky, had a tendency to crease on me really, really quickly. I liked it for all over the face, not so much under eye. Is this going to eliminate creasing totally? It hasn't for me yet. But this is a cool trick. So you take this, I'm trying to find my mirror, and I'm like, where is it? And then you ever so lightly, really light touch. This is for the mature skin types with the crepiness. You just sort of blend it on. I'm doing back and forth. I think you could do, she did this kind of a circular motion. You could press, but she also doesn't like to line up to right under the lid. I do, but anyway, there's a lot less product, but look at that. And because there's less there, you're not going to get what? You're not going to get that instant creasing. It's not going to be heavy. You don't apply doe foot to face. You put it on the brush. You just kind of lightly kind of press it in. And then you can go up here, of course, with just the residual amounts that are on the brush. She's like a genius. She's obviously been doing this for a long time. And so now you can just see the difference. So the cream corrector I brought out, I will apply this on top of it. It doesn't necessarily apply to every type of concealer, but I wanted to share it because I know a lot of us have had issues, especially with crepiness under the eyes, creasing, and you're like, why are concealers not working? They all crease. I mean, they really, I've yet to find one that absolutely doesn't. The Iris and Romeo is the favorite on the list right now. Mine is expired, so I'm not using it in today's video. That's why I decided to just do this instead. But with concealers, so much of it depends on the type of formula. Like if there's a lot of thinness, thickness, you know, the texture, or I guess like the viscosity of the formula. Whoa, big word. But the application is just, it's really, it's like hair, you know? I love a good shampoo. I can see a difference when I use the right shampoo or leave-in conditioner, but it's the tools I use to blow dry, flat iron if I do, that makes all the difference. And it's that application that I think makes the most difference, getting rid of any ruddiness. That's it. It's crazy. It's a wonderful tip. I hope you find this helpful. If you do this already, let me know. If this is new to you and you try it and it's working, like I would ideally love for us all to get ready together, but you guys are probably ready already. Let me know if it worked for you because I'm finding this to be pretty impressive. It makes things take a little bit longer, but not really, not that bad. I was just talking it through, so it took a little bit longer. So I'm not going to touch this. I will do a little bit of the cream corrector just to kind of show you. I don't even know if there's going to be much of a difference, but I brought this back out too because it's a cool product. It just didn't blow me away. I think this could easily, like the Tower 28, be an option for a multitasker. And then it's just creamier though. So that one's still a little bit thicker. It is more hydrating. There's still moisture on the brush. I think this has a little bit more. So a thicker, more moisturizing formula. I don't think it's bad. I just think something like the Tower 28 really lends itself well to that kind of a priming process. So that's just to prove the point. You're gonna probably wanna go with a lighter weight option. The Kosas is actually a really good option that I think would work here. It's creamy, but it's also not heavy. So lightweight liquid concealers, give this a try. Let me know how it works for you. And thank you, Jane Hughes. You're a genius. You're brilliant. You make me love social media when sometimes I just want to hate it. So I'm just going to press a little bit. There's just residual setting powder on this little brush, mainly because I don't want shine. And the Air Perez is going to give a little bit of shine. Took a lot of time on concealer today. Just saying. Let's do a foundation check here. Yeah, a little bit of separation for me on the cheeks. Not obsessed yet. It's the application of that one. I'm gonna need to try a couple of things. This, it wasn't an oil too. This was a gel kind of based situation. So I'll try it with an actual oil. That was just me testing and playing and having fun. Rest of the face now, still some newbies, but I'm gonna go in with these two liners. I have this up on my Instagram stories. These are the Gen C liners. They were gifted from Credo Beauty, which was very exciting to me, to be honest with you. I've always loved Credo Beauty. I've always looked at them sort of like they're setting the bar in the cleaner beauty space. We've never really had a lot of conversations as a creator. And when they reached out, I was like, it was like a flattering moment. It was a nice moment. So anyway, they sent me the Gen C liners. I've liked some Gen C. I haven't loved all of it. I'm airing like 80-20. I probably like most of what I try. I've started layering these liners. So this is in NYC. This is their Cruise Gel Liner. I pull it out just like that so it looks precise, but it was just me dragging my finger across my skin. That's my trick. I am barely pressing. So it's pretty forgiving. You're not getting a super soft formula. There's slight pull, slight pull, but not really bad at all. And I will tell you, the wear test on these have been really, really impressive so far. I'm still waiting for the scorecard. That is not my final verdict, but I've been looking for a black liner that like sticks around. I love the Ma Beauty Cake Liner. It's softer. You can build it up. It's really versatile, but I'm really looking at this one. However, the plastic. Can we not do any plastic, please? And then I have a couple of little misses there. If I just lightly swipe, it goes away. So it's kind of easy to work with again. There you go. Pretty nice, right? But here is where it gets really fun. So actually, before I do that, for the crease, I'm going to go in with the Matte Peach. This is from Ma Beauty. I can speak. There it is. I've been using this a lot. It's warm, it's not too warm, it's neutral, but it still shows up. You know when you get a color and you're really not expecting anything and then you're like, God, I use that every day? That's kind of what happened here. That's why I actually really like getting gifts from brands, because sometimes they select things that I would never pick out for myself. And then I can share it with you and you're like, I would have never thought about that. So this is the shade Provence. I was layering this as a light lavender on top of the black. It's very subtle, but then you can build and you do actually start to see a strong pop of color. So you will have a little bit more pressure, a little bit possibly more pulling. What to get that thing going, you got to get it a little warmed up. It starts really gliding nicely. It is not meant to be a strong amethyst. This is really more of a lavender, but it's really fun. It's like a subtle way if you don't want to do something crazy all over the eye for daytime, but you still want some color. You want something new. This has been so fun. Honestly, I really, really love it. And you guys know I love a good lavender moment. That's it. That's all she wrote. Not technically a first impression, but just really fun. Keep saying fun. And usually when you say it that much, it means it's not. Ami Collet is back. They replenished me. I have their skin tint now. I'm going to try that out. This is really for melanin rich skin, but it also works for me and my lashes. We'll see about the skin tint. It's just so nice. And it really lifts. That's the other thing I've noticed about it. creamy, not heavy, doesn't weigh them down, but it gives like a nice lash lift, which I will never say no to. Another nice thing about these eyeliners is I'm not seeing them dripping. Usually when you do any kind of wing on the outside, they drip. By the end of the day, they'll get here and here, especially during allergy season. This is just me pressing it up because I don't want to use the lash curler. So good. In the meantime, I'm gonna put a little balm on. This is from Ethique. I'm testing their balms. This is in Juicy, just a clear balm. I'm liking it. Actually, it does feel pretty nice. Instantly, I kind of really like this stuff. All right, let's finish it up with some warmth and some warmth and some warmth. Mango People, this is the bronzer stick. I'm still loving it. Beautiful, creamy. I just apply the brush directly to the tip of this and swirl it around, swirl it around. You don't need much. And I haven't gone through it, look at that. I do have their blush stick and I also have their highlight stick, which I've yet to preview on this channel. But I got them and I just need to use them. This was the perfect example of you're looking at that and you're like, that's a little ruddy, right? It's not really blended. Just keep blending. It'll get there. Especially with a formula like this. Actually, I do want to see how this is working on top. Swirling on top of that foundation scares me a little because I think it's going to start to create more texture. I'm going to put a little bit of this bronzer in the eye crease. I barely touched it to the actual stick. It's doing such a good job. And then a lot of people will put it here to kind of naturally look like you're plumping your lips. Whatever. Sometimes I will use a powder bronzer just to kind of press it in. The Han bronzer is what I have with me today. It is a really buttery, beautiful powder bronzer. It's getting a little glowy, like wet glowy, so I do want to kind of tame that. But this is like, yeah. And it's not an orange glow. You know what I mean? It's not an orange brown. It's more of a neutral brown, a cooler brown, which is something I always look for right now. It's just my thing. I did bring this RMS blush out. This is their Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. I've been reaching for it more. I just am starting to really like it. And this is in the shade Sangria. Not gonna lie to you, it's a gorgeous compact. It is refillable. But you all know, very hit or miss with RMS lately. It's either, oh my God, yes, or, you know, there's really not a lot of in between. However, I'm contradicting myself because this was sort of a meh. And now I'm really liking it. It builds nicely. They do a really good powder shimmer. They had their highlighter and their bronzer. They were really strong. They did this shimmer that looked like, it was a powder as well, but it never looked cakey. It never looked like a disco ball. It's just this beautiful shimmer that they're able to get you to. I haven't really seen that in a lot of other brands. So this is just gonna give some more warmth, as you can see. Nothing crazy, but if I kept building, I really didn't put a lot on, but I could keep building. Where are we? What are we doing? Okay, the last two. So I have my Cocoa crayons here. Here are my Cocoa crayons. Can you tell which one I like to use the most? Do you see which one I like to use the most? Yeah. So they are my favorites. They're on my favorites. This is shade Grace. It's such a beautiful neutral. These are very creamy. That could cover the entire lip if I wanted to. And you can narrow them down to a point that will make this more manageable. They're cool. I really, really like that product. And then the last is from Flavedo and Albedo. And this is their Dew Tint Aluminum. Very, very, very sustainable. I just popped that on top. It brightens. Obviously, both of those can double as a blush. They can double as eyeshadow. They can be multitaskers. You could narrow this whole thing down to like 5 products and be totally fine doing it. But today was a get ready with me day, so we did a little bit of extra, and that is it. Let's take another look at the foundation. All right, it's doing great except for here and here. These two spots, they're separating and there's a little bit of texture. I don't know, but you know, as I'm talking, I want to put liner on the bottom lash. I know I never do that here. I wanted to mix it up. So let's try. It will shrink the eye a little bit, but I kind of just want to see how that's going to wear. I am barely pressing that on. There you go. There you go. There's the face, my friends. Favorites, some first impressions. Blue slept through the entire thing, as is the usual. And then you can just, when you're talking to somebody and they're going to be like, do you have purple? Is that purple? It's subtle, but it's still there. It's not like a wisp of purple. It's such a fun combination. If you have liners that are in different colors, highly recommend giving that a try. Links to everything that I used today will be below. Let me know which one you like the most. Tell me what your thoughts are on the Ogee. I will see you right back here with more product reviews really soon. Until then, mwah. Also, I want you to see the lavender up close in the natural light. You can see it's not as subtle as it might look in there. It's fun, right?